Well, it's been a very, very long time since we've been able to watch a big-time basketball game here in the Basketball Champions League, but that all changes tonight. Really, these teams were squaring off and trying to determine who would advance to the quarterfinals back in March. And then the coronavirus pandemic came and has delayed the basketball. But here we have it. You see the road to the Final Four. Well, actually, we're going to have a Final 8 that'll be coming up. And you see in that bottom right-hand corner there, Tenerife and Oostende. They will be looking to advance to Athens for the Final 8. And it'll be there where they would take on Casademont Zaragoza. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Clark. And Mark, it's a pleasure once again to be working with you and really to see this Iberostar Tenerife team in Filou Oostende. And you can see that Zaragoza already advanced from their round of 16 with a 2-0 sweep of Liat Kabelis. And now it's Iberostar Tenerife going up against Filou Oostende. I don't think many people expected Filou Oostende to get a game in this series, but they have been very thorny opponents for Iberostar Tenerife in the Basketball Champions League history, having split a pair of games with them in that debut season when Iberostar Tenerife won the title. And, of course, getting Game 2 in this one to force the Game 3. So give me your thoughts, Mark, here as we look at Filou Oostende's this roster, some new faces and some familiar faces.
Well, Jeff, the great thing about this Oostende team is that it is a team. I mean, they've always been a difficult team for Tenerife. Tenerife have put away, on paper, much stronger teams. But this team have a habit of finding someone on the night to come up with a great performance. Boosie came up with the big 10 points in only 14 minutes of play on 3 from 4 from the three-point line. And they need that type of contribution against this roster at Tenerife. They've lost some guys, but wow, the core of this team is solid. It's the core of the team that did well to win the Intercontinental Cup. They brought back Dornekamp, who was there when they won in the first year of the BCL. It's a team built to be competitive in the ACB. It's a team to go to the latter stages of a competition like the BCL. And then in the Basketball Champions League, no one has as good a record as Tenerife. But Oostende, making it go to Game 3, they have a chance now. And if you'd have offered them that 2 games ago, they'd have bitten your hand off for it. Home or away, they've got a chance here to cause what would be, in anyone's estimation, a major upset.
Well, there is the veteran point guard Djordjevic coming out, and of course Pierre-Antoine Gillet, who runs out the Belgium International. And there's Thomas Welsh. We'll talk more about him and some of these players here for this Oostende team that nobody expected under Dario Gerja to make it this far. But he's one of the best in the business. I think he's proved it yet again this season with what he's been able to do with this team. These are very strange circumstances. But Pierre-Antoine Gillet, remember, was the best player in Belgium when he played for Oostende. He ended up moving to Spain and actually played in the Basketball Champions League for Iberostar Tenerife. That was last season. So here he is now playing back at Oostende and looking to help his team spring what would really be considered a massive upset. Although right now with basketball restarting and so many questions about where teams are in their preparation, you just don't know what to expect. But the big thing is, of course, you know, we're not allowed to have fans in the arena yet. We're hoping that that's going to change as soon as possible. But obviously concerns about the pandemic and the control of the COVID and not spreading that has to be preeminent. This is a great team. You touched on it. Giorgio Shermadini, Marcelo Huertas, Marcelinho Huertas, Sasu Salim, the big three. They've gotten Aaron Dornekamp back, who really, for the performance that he had in that opening season of the Basketball Champions League, when he was actually voted one of the top 5 players in the competition. That just goes to show you the magnitude. There he is, the importance. A few years on, of course, he was at Valencia Basket, did well at Valencia Basket, and was actually coached by Chus Villareta right there, who went to Valencia after leading Iberostar Tenerife and then ended up coming back to Iberostar Tenerife. It's no surprise that he has gotten Dornekamp back here in this lineup. So anyway, Danny Diaz as well. On paper, you think Iberostar Tenerife should win this game. But, you know, you've got 40 minutes to play. And here are the referees for tonight. an all-French crew, Johan Rosso, Eddie Viator, and Alexandre Demond doing the officiating tonight. 3 of the best. So I know they're excited to be back on the court, just like we're excited to be here calling the action.
Jeff, you know, the other thing that I think is interesting for Tenerife is the people not here. You know, like Santi Justa had a marvelous Intercontinental trophy. He was absolutely instrumental in the win. And there are guys coming off the bench. As we look at the starting 5 for Oostende, and let's touch on them for a second. Jomat Muema is one of, alongside Dusan Djordjevic. Well, that's Oostende basketball in the last few years. Those guys have been the core of this team. Muema came up with 17 points in the Game 2 win. And, you know, undersized, yes. Maybe doesn't have some of the perimeter skill attributes, but this guy gets it done for Oostende. 17 points, 50% from 2, had a marvelous game, and just scoring. And he just kept his team in it in the 4th quarter when it got tight. He didn't score in that 4th quarter, but he was on the floor for 8 of the 10 minutes. And he was the glue that held them together that whole night. And that's Oostende basketball. That's the way they play. They don't make it very... They're a team under Coach Gruger who just get the job done. They don't actually have to do it in a very pretty way, but they are hard-nosed, and it's the sort of team that Tenerife struggle to really wear down, and that's what Tenerife do. The great sets that Villanueva runs gives them good options, but Oostende just guard them really well. It's going to be a game in the 70s, and that gives them a huge chance to win. Where it's going to be won and lost for me, Jeff, is on that front line with Shemadini, Kavanagh, and Dornicamp. That's a powerful front line. And Filou Oostende, we haven't talked about the Uruguayan, had a great season for Burgos, and what's he trying to do now? Take another Spanish team into that Final 8. Giorgi Shemadini, I think, playing his best basketball of his whole career, and he's had a very, very stellar career in his time in Spain. He basically makes this team click on the inside. You know what he's going to do. He just does it well enough to make it happen. Huertas not starting is an interesting development, because his combination for Coach Villanueva has been absolutely fundamental to the success that Tenerife had last season.
Well, Villanueva, I mean, whatever you want to say about him, he wins big games, at least in that opening year. He didn't win the big game, in fact, against Virtus Bologna in the Basketball Champions League, but he's a guy that's been around the block. He's actually been an assistant in the past with Spain's national team and helped them get to the podium, and there's no doubt about it, he is the man in control. And there's just the unknown factor here. Early on players, late players coming in, Fittipaldo, Dornicamp. Dornicamp will know how Villanueva coaches, so that should be an easy adjustment for him. And it looks like Huertas is going to be coming off the bench tonight.
Yeah, that's a big call, Jeff. That's a big, big call.
Yeah, and we don't know why that would be the case. Huertas really has, when it's all said and done, when he finishes, he will have had a legendary career. Now, Welsh, let me tell you, I had a chance to see him not play much, but he was with the USA team that won the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup back in 2015 in Greece. And Mark, that was an awesome team with Jason Tatum, all kinds of NBA talent. He went on to play Welsh at UCLA. He was drafted in the 2nd round by Denver, played in the G League really for a couple of seasons, and I think is ready to just kind of, you know, for a new challenge to come overseas. And I'm really intrigued to see what, if any, impact he will have today. I think clearly, you know, he's going to have his hands full tonight against Shemadini, and it's going to be interesting to see how he and Georgia as well approach this. But from his standpoint, he's in the starting lineup, so I'm guessing they're expecting big things from him tonight.
Well, it's going to be interesting, Jeff, because I see a lot of similarities in the way they put this roster together, in the way that Antwerp put a roster together. It's a team that knows their roles, even this early. So I'm interested in the way I think they're going to get the most out of their unit. I'm just not sure if that is going to be good enough to beat what I think is still one of the favorites to win the whole thing in the Basketball Champions League this year.
Well, hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Santiago Martin, better known as La Hamburguesa, here in Santa Cruz, Tenerife. It's the round of 16 in the Basketball Champions League. It's the Game 3 decider between Oostende in red and Iberostar Tenerife in the gold and yellow. And Wema, the Belgium international, comes out and misses with his first attempt. And already a rebound here for Iberostar Tenerife's Tyler Kavanaugh. Now Fittipaldo comes out, and the Uruguayan misses with his first attempt. And Djordjevic brings it forward for Oostende. Djordjevic has been with this Oostende team for a mighty long time, for several years. Welsh passes it back out. They're going to launch it from three-point range, and it's going to go off the back of the iron.
Jeff, that's Tenerife basketball. First two possessions, their defense has been just phenomenal. Just forcing everything to the outside and really protecting the middle. That's a great start for them defensively.
Now, Mark, as a coach, I know that you will probably appreciate their defensive excellence more than most, but a lot of people know them for their high-powered offense over the years. And it'll be interesting to see if they continue to try to attack from deep. Well, because they've certainly got some skillful players on that end of the court. See, it gets it down low, puts it up, misses everything. Both these teams looking like they're shaking off the rust.
Well, definitely early in the season start, and the difference for me with Tenerife is not a lot of ball movement. It's all been a little bit catch it, let it go. That's what Salin does, is he does it from the perimeter. But you know, Huertas was the guy that would orchestrate for everybody else.
And it's Iberostar Tenerife striking from downtown, and no surprise, the flying Finn, Sasu Salin.
Well, he's never going to pass up the open three, is he? And one of the best in the Basketball Champions League, percentage-wise, at knocking down that shot.
Schwartz short, and Kavanaugh quickly out and running. Now Shermadini, and gets the foul called on Welsh.
Well, you called that right at the top of the game, Jeff. He's going to have his hands full. But there you see, just lost position. And Shermadini, he's going to take, regardless of what happens, he's going to draw that foul. And that is going to be a hard matchup for Welsh the whole game.
So Oostende survived on that trip down the floor. Now Djordjevic has it, still looking for their first bucket. Over to Nwema. See it, puts it up, and the lefty a little long. Shermadini collects one of his many rebounds on the night. Fittipaldo into Kavanaugh, gets it back and puts it up. And it's another three ball, this time from the Uruguayan.
Much better than the first time down. Much better. Jeff really got it inside, got it back. You know, it's great when he gets it back like that. He's facing the hoop. Gave it up, gave it to the inside, gets it back, strokes the three.
Dornekamp, who hails from Canada and forces the turnover. Known for his defense. Now the entry pass, and Kavanaugh goes up. Good defense by Oostende. Missed opportunity there for Iberostar Tenerife. And Wema inside to Welsh, and short little jump hook. That's promising.
Yep. First real touch he's had that deep. Nice touch, nice finish. I think he's an asset. I think he gives them something they've not had really before, that genuine five spot.
Fittipaldo, beautiful bounce pass. Shermadini shares the basketball. Oh, that is, what a play. And Kavanaugh drills it from the right corner. 3 3-pointers for Tenerife.
Isn't that Tenerife basketball? Though Shermadini got it to the inside, and the majority of players in this spot would have gone up with a hook or tried to power it up. Saw his teammate in the corner. Kavanaugh's naked in the corner, wide open. And that's Tenerife basketball. That's the sharing of the ball that this club is known for.
Shermadini, his team leading by 7 points, gets an early breather.
Interesting if they try and give Welsh a touch without Shermadini in the game.
So Emir Suleimanovic comes into the game, played at Bilbao last season. Oh, nice sweeping hook by Louis Schwartz. One of those Belgium internationals that Dario Georgia coaches. He's also the coach of the Belgium national team. And the reach and the foul has been called on Schwartz.
Now, we've seen Schwartz in the last few years sort of grow into a much more important role for Oostende. He was coming off the bench, was young. But as you say, now he's an international, senior international. Is a lot expected of him. And I think he's really flourished it with the responsibility. It's a great advert for the way they develop their players.
There's no doubt Belgium have got a lot of talent in the pipeline. There's Welsh with the rebound, hands it off to Djordjevic. Schwartz, the fake. Welsh from the line, and the big man shows a nice feathery touch.
That's sweet, isn't it? Little jump, little hook from the inside, little short jump, and then he gets the foul line jumper. Nice start for Walsh.
Well, he's definitely got basketball in his blood when you look at where he has played the game. Here he is battling for the rebound. Now Djordjevic up ahead to see a little alley-oop, and would have done better to try to dunk it or just bring it down and go up. And an easy one down low for Suleimanovic.
It's interesting, the way they're trying to play the pick and roll. Oostende is just giving Tenerife too many options, and as soon as the weak side guy lifted, they had no help. Just an easy two.
And Welsh again, and boy, he is a problem already. And looking very much like one of the big signings here in the Basketball Champions League, going to work with those 6 early points. Now the dump and the pass outside, and Dornekamp misses from 3, and there's Welsh getting those big paws on the basketball. And he hustles back down the floor, tries to set the pick. And the ball kicked, and the ball will remain with Oostende. And Mark, this is the point. You know, even though it's early on for Oostende and for all of these teams, you know, you don't know a lot about some of these players coming over to Europe if you play in European basketball. And Welsh is showing us why he was an NBA draft pick.
Absolutely, and great thing there, Jeff, when the ball was loose, he's the first man on the floor. He's engaged with this group, and he knows his role. I think without Shermadini in the game, he needs to see the ball a lot. So Suleimanovic just can't, I don't think, can cope with him. And be interesting to see if they can get him deep and give him the basketball, because Tenerife are going to have to make some adjustments to help on the inside. And that's, you know, Oostende are a well-coached team. They're going to recognize that advantage.
Well, of course, some big familiar faces now. Marcelinho Huertas in the basketball game. Here's Pierre-Antoine Gillet. We talked about him having played for Oostende before, then played for this Iberostar Tenerife club, and now he's back with Oostende. Sia getting some words of advice. And here is Kay van der Verst, De Vries from the Netherlands. Schwartz, meanwhile, launches it and is short. And to your point, really, Welsh is a real problem already. You would think you'd want to get him the basketball. So Huertas trying to come up with his first. A fast start.
Start, Jeff, you know, from the three-point line. Even though Shermadini was in the game, they haven't really looked to, and they got work off penetration, but they haven't really gone to the inside. They've done that very well, though.
Well, Tyler Cavanaugh Suleimanovic drives in, and looking like he's. Well, I thought it was Cavanaugh at first, and then we saw Suleimanovic coming back. Yeah, it was Tyler Kavanaugh's basket,
yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, it was Kavanaugh going to the hoop.
Here's Van der Veers. Drives in. Good aggressive move by the young Dutchman.
Jeff, I think last season they found another dimension when Van der Voest was on the floor. For all the experience that Dusan Djordjevic brings, when Van der Voest came on the floor, it's something that Oostende had never had before. They had that little injection of intensity going to the hoop, little pace. Their tempo was much, much quicker when he joined the game. Yes, he's young. Yes, he might make some mistakes. Just gives them a different look. Because in the past, Oostende was one of those teams that always came up that one game short. And I think he, like a number of these younger players at Oostende, gives them that chance to get over the hump. And they're one game away from getting over the hump right now. First chance he gets, he takes it straight to the ring. It's an addition that Oostende are really benefiting from.
Stoppage in play as they work on something over at the scores table. Yeah, the thing with Van der Veers is he was young. He still is young. K. Van der Veers, rather, excuse me. And the early signs, you know, it was a nice move. So we'll see how much he's grown up here in the last several months. You know, a lot of these guys weren't even able to play basketball during various lockdowns throughout Europe and the world. And, of course, they were positively over the moon just trying to get back out on the court. Now here is another player who's joined young Croatian, has joined Filou Oostende and Mario Nakic. And it's not often that you see Coach Truus Vitoretta smiling over there on the bench. But right now, he certainly knows he's got himself a ball game here against a very experienced tactician. There's Nakic. No, it's interesting as well that Georgia is able to pull in, you know, a lot of good quality young players. And, you know, I think he has a reputation, especially for being able to develop young talent.
Super rotation.
That was trying to force the ball inside. Behind the back pass. Kavanaugh gets it over to Fittipaldo. Now into the corner. Danny Diaz. Short. And West is going to have, I suspect, a big number by the end of the night, both in terms of points and rebounds.
He's got to see the ball, though, Jeff. They're almost overcomplicating it. Just giving the ball, see what he can make happen down low.
Well, Georgia has just asked for a timeout here inside the final 2 minutes of intriguing first quarter here in this round of 16 Game 3 decider between Iberostar Tenerife and Filou Oostende. Shermatini gets one of those early season shots to the midsection. Looks like he may have had the wind knocked out of him a little bit. And it was delivered by Boychart.
Yeah, no, I was going to say.
Fontaine, excuse me, Olivier Fontaine.
Yeah. The good thing is it wasn't Welsh, because that would be his second foul. He has to be up there in the 35-minute margins for tonight's game for them to get the win. Last thing he needs is foul trouble.
Diaz dumps it down low, and again a push this time on Van der Veers.
That's not a bad foul, though. They had to switch. He finds himself with Shermadini. That was only going to happen one way, so takes one for the team.
So that's one of the longer names in the Basketball Champions League, Van der Veers de Vries.
That's an expensive name if your young son wants his name on your shirt.
That's exactly right. Say it 10 times. Just Fittipaldo driving in with a little runner, and West grabs another rebound. I'll tell you what, if the ball is up around the rim, West is coming down with it.
Yeah.
So Welsh with 5 rebounds to go with his 6 points. Antoine Gillet is passed to the corner, leads to a turnover. Fittipaldo on the open floor. Here's Diaz, and Diaz again misses for the second time. He is not going to miss all night. Huertas pulls up, and that's his game right there. And with 52.1 seconds remaining in the opening quarter, Marcelino Huertas' basket has forced Dario Georgia of Oostende to bring his players over to the bench for a timeout.
First rule, don't make fucking turnover, 3 turnovers in a row. No one set you didn't call. No one set. Away, 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 away. Ty, please, hey guys, 5 turnovers we have now.
Well, Jeff, you don't have to be a super tactician to see the concern and the frustration with the turnovers. And I think it sums up Oostende basketball there in that they like to be on the same page. So if they don't make a call, that doesn't mean to say they're going to be very predictable. If they don't make a call to start on the same page, they're just not as effective. So the 5 turnovers, all of them forced because they weren't really being there was no purpose in what they were running almost. So therefore, they allowed the defense to get into the passing lane and come up with the steals, and that's a disappointment for coach. 5 turnovers in a low-scoring game. He knows his team's in the game. He doesn't want to see them make the mistakes that's going to make this an even tougher ask to win on the road here.
Yeah, nothing will take you out of a basketball game quicker than turning the ball over, and that has plagued Oostende here in the last minute. Nakic, Twafontaine, and Van der Verst each with a turnover also, and Wema has a turnover. Here's this pass, and this time challenged. Good job by Kavanaugh blocking West. So challenging him down low. Huertas again from the other side.
It's the same play, and it's because they have to deal with the Shemadini roll. He just gets into the little pocket under the screen, and they're going to have to be a little bit smarter as they help on that pick and roll. Otherwise, the Huertas is just going to, well, it's a little just like taking candy from the baby, really. Gets what he wants, how he wants it.
Well, coming down, and I guess Oostende will settle for the 2 free throws. The foul on Alex Lopez, who has just checked into the game. Or they're not going to give him the shots.
That's a shooting foul, surely. I thought they signaled. Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They did signal too, yeah. Same thing we talked about earlier on, though, Jeff, in terms of Van der Verst. Again, ripped it through and attacked the basket. That's not what Djordjevic doesn't give Oostende that option. And deep in the shot clock, deep in the quarter clock, he comes up with a really good decision, gets to the free throw line, is going to get him into double figures. They're only 7 down. They've turned the ball over too often. They're right in this, though.
Well, 3.5 seconds, 3.4 seconds. Plenty of time for Iberostar Tenerife here to get a good shot. And Wayman's going to come in and allow Welsh to come out and catch his breath. I wouldn't imagine, as you alluded to, that he'll be on the bench for long. Lopez quickly, and there is the long shot, and Huertas, who has made a few of those, well, shall we say several in his famous career, misses. But it's Iberostar Tenerife on top at the end of 1 in this Game 3 decider of the round of 16, 17-10 over Filou Oostende.
Well, stats-wise, you know, the three-point line has not been anybody's friend. 12 threes for Tenerife in a quarter of basketball tells you where the intent is, and they're going to base their season on that if they're throwing up that many threes at this stage. The turnovers, as right there, coach pointed out, has really hurt Oostende, especially in a low-scoring game like this. And if they take care of the basketball, I like the tempo of the game for Oostende. It gives them a chance, and if they're living and dying by the three-point shot at the moment, Tenerife. Shemadini hasn't even got a shot away. He's been out there for 6-7 minutes of the first quarter. Hasn't got an offensive touch in terms of points because he's assisted like that. But they've always been very good at being balanced in their scoring, Tenerife. And the 12 threes, unless that's what Coach Videoretta has said, we want to shoot the 3. That's something that would worry me And actually, for Oostende, in Oostende's situation, will let them hang around in this game. That's all they can ask. If they can hang around and be in there in the fourth quarter on the road, they're in good shape.
Well, I guess if you're Oostende and you're looking for any encouragement, it is the fact that you are only trailing by 7. And as you said, the battering ram, Shermadini, has yet to score. In fact, he's yet to attempt a field goal. He's yet to attempt a shot. So at least you've got the clamps on him. And but there is a lot of firepower in this Iberostar Tenerife team.
You know, and that Huertas, we saw some highlights at the end when he came into the game. You know, he's just a different level. The decisions coming off the pick and roll. Everyone tells me the mid-range game is a dying art. Well, Marcelino Huertas always proves you wrong on that. He gets into little pockets under screens and just knocks down shots for fun.
Well, second quarter action underway here in La Hamburguesa. And Santa Cruz, Tenerife. Lopez misses with his 3. Diaz challenged for the rebound, was able to keep the basketball here in the hands of Tenerife. And now the turnover. Schwartz in the open floor avoids Lopez, and beautiful pass. And Oostende capitalize. And it's Nakic hustling down the floor.
Jeff, young guys have no fear, do they? They have no fear. Nakic and Schwartz, Van der Hurst, they fear no reputation. Interesting time for Oostende.
Now Shermadini with Welsh out of the game, going to work on that low block, and Servas Boychert commits the foul.
Well, one thing you can be sure about with Tenerife, they'll exploit the mismatch, and that's a mismatch and a half at the moment with Shermadini on the inside.
And Nakic in the open floor, showing good dribbling and down low, and scooping and hooping was Pierre-Antoine Gillet, and suddenly it's a 3-point game. You see Shermadini really wants to go at Boychart. Marcelino over to the corner, and Dornekamp missing another. Now Schwartz. Well, you talked about being fearless.
Yeah.
And indeed, the young Croatian not looking like this occasion is too big for him at all. The ball goes off the hands of Dornekamp. And suddenly Jeff, it looks like they've kind of lost their rhythm.
Absolutely. I was just about to say, the great thing about Tenerife the last few seasons is that they were always in the rhythm. Even if they were in tough games, they knew what they wanted to get. At the moment, this predominance of this emphasis on the three-point shot doesn't appear to be really working for them, and it's taken them out of their offensive rhythm. It's interesting to see how they react. I also think the way that Oostende are playing Shermadini is interesting. They're literally asking other people to score in the way they run the pick and roll. And Huertas has knocked down 2 twos, but apart from that, it's been very, very productive the way they're playing the pick and roll at the moment.
Ball goes out of bounds, and yet another turnover.
Yeah.
And looky here now, folks, a 1-point game, and the veteran Pierre-Antoine Gillet, another basket from him, and suddenly it looks like Oostende settling in nicely. Good drive down the lane, but unable to capitalize. with Fran Guerra. And Oostende can take the lead. Look at it, they're on an 8-0 run. Schwartz. And Fittipaldo reaches in, knocks it away, but is called for the foul.
Well, you called it, Jeff, in terms of the way that Oostende have been the last, definitely in this second quarter. But the other way around, Tenerife at the minute, for the first time I think ever when I've been covering Tenerife, I can't really tell you where the point of what they're running offensively, where they're trying to get the ball to. The relationship between Huertas and Shermadini is what they used to do to build this team. And without that being the base, as Huertas checks back into the game, they seem to be, they look like they're in preseason. They're struggling to find themselves as a group at the moment offensively.
Well, Fittipaldo picks up a couple of quick fouls, heads to the bench, and is replaced by Marcelino Huertas. Fontaine steps back and puts Oostende in front. And the Belgium uprising here in Santa Cruz has put them in front of Iberostar Tenerife. Huertas passes off 1 foot. Now he gets it back. Shot clock down to 7. Starts to work his magic. He's short, gets the ball back.
Yeah,
and a push,
I think.
And a foul has been called on Iberostar Tenerife.
Same, I'm not sure we'll get a replay, Jeff, but it's the same. You get a replay of the shot and the push in the back, as soft as that push was, but
yeah,
they had him moving sideways.
Was a soft push.
Yeah, they had him moving sideways on that jump shot because they're saying to him, you score them. You know, you score, you make the play. We're not going to let you roll to the inside. We're not going to let you get us chasing you. If you make the shot, all well and good, but that's the way we've decided to play the pick and roll. And at the moment, it's actually being very productive.
Nakic looking very good, very comfortable out there, but again, turns the basketball over as he gets into the paint. Looked like he was going to attempt his shot, then tried to make a pass and lost possession. Now, Iberostar Tenerife. Bounce pass to Guerra. From the corner, Sassu Saline! Well, if you want somebody taking a three-pointer, that's who it is. And he was wide open.
Well, they allowed the pass to the inside on the pick and roll, which, you know, generated a little bit of rotation and help, and then Salin's wide open.
Fontaine, meanwhile, showing his mid-range game for the second time.
Nice stroke, isn't it? It's a really soft touch.
Well, he's definitely got some offense to his game. Now another foul has been called. But I think what you said earlier, Mark, is it really does it's worth repeating that there seems to be a certain looseness, especially with the younger players out here. Georgia allowing them to go out and play, and hey, they're not feeling the pressure. They look like they're ready for this moment.
Hey, the whole of European basketball probably thinks they're going to lose this game. So they have nothing to lose. And
well, let's be honest here. Why don't you share our conversation earlier? I was telling you I thought Oostende had a real chance in this game.
Yeah. No, and I think I 100% agree with you. Time of season, fearless, nothing to lose, all those types of things. And you've got some guys with confidence out there. And you've got a lot of changes on the Tenerife roster, which, again, is going to take a while to bed in.
Yes. Or excuse me, I think that was Dornekamp. Dornekamp can't get it to fall at all. He's really struggling. Well, Fontaine pulls up from 3. We've seen his mid-range game. This time he's short, but Boychart puts it up and in. Great offensive rebound and putback. And those are the types of baskets that really will worry Chus Villareta. And now Schwartz reaches in, gets the steal, and dunks it. Goodness gracious, Filou Oostende are feeling it. 24-20, and they have forced Iberostar Tenerife to call a timeout. Iberostar Tenerife, I'll tell you, the way at the end of the first quarter, it must have come at the wrong time for them because they were in the flow, and right now they look lost, and Filou Oostende are taking advantage.
Well, Jeff, we heard it in the Oostende timeout. Very simple. Stop turning the ball over and riding the game. That's obviously a big factor. So is that number, 14 points off the bench. We were talking a lot about the impact of the way that Thomas Welsh was coming out, but they've got contributions deep off that bench, and I think it's that balance now. They've got young players, they've recruited incredibly well, they've recruited really intelligently in terms of the players they've brought in, players trying to achieve something, build careers, and that's where Oostende is at the moment. They've got a solid core of players, and now they're getting performances out of those younger players coming through. The possession that summed it up for me, Jeff, was the one before the turnover where Tenerife moved the ball, hit the second side, the third side, reversed it again, and all they got out of that was a contested Dornicampe 3 that was just was long and never looked good. That's solid. It's solid in terms of the prep. It's solid in terms of what they're asking Tenerife to do. And they've got to start breaking down this Oostende defense. And at the moment, that's what's really setting the foundation for Oostende to lead at the moment.
Well, Fittipaldo back in the game, and Huertas has gone out of the game. And the backcourt has been a little suspect here for Iberostar Tenerife. And you wouldn't think that would be the case with so much experience.
Yeah.
Saline has played he's played okay, but we certainly haven't seen the best of Fittipaldo or Huertas at this point. And here's Shermadini, and he will go to the line.
16 minutes into the game, Shermadini's first field goal attempt. That's not a stat that you or I would have ever thought. Last year, the year before, Shermadini has been a focal point offensively. And I think he makes everything balanced. That's his first field goal attempt, 16 minutes into the game. That's amazing.
Well, it's kind of the way things are going right now. The missed free throw, and I was kind of saying Saline hadn't been that bad, but actually he does have 2 turnovers as well. So that backcourt really has been suspect here for Iberostar Tenerife. Also Lopez coming out and committing the foul. Here's Nwema driving in. And that's Georgia's going to go crazy over there. That's a basket that he has got to put down.
It's great execution. The back cut. He did everything difficult, did it well, and literally just missed the open layup.
Now Saline leans into one. And good rebound from Pierre-Antoine Gillet. Schwartz looking more and more like he's going to be a pivotal player in this game. Boychart has the ball knocked away by Tyler Kavanaugh, who commits the foul. And Boychart, you have to really tip your hat to him. He has come out. He's not just a big body. I mean, he is really going hard for Oostende.
And that the other thing that does is that Thomas Welsh gets some real extended time on the bench that I didn't think they could afford to have him out. That's really great recognition that they had Shermadini on the foul line as well. Went down low with no help, draws another foul. You got to love the way Oostende are playing both ends of the floor right now.
Now Schwartz feeling confident and drilling the three-pointer. And he is about as comfortable as he has ever been in a basketball Champions League game.
Absolutely. Surely Shermadini
goes to work. Well, you have to say it's about time for Shermadini. He needs to come out and really start to produce. And it looks like the message over on the bench from Chus Vitoretta was to get the ball inside to the big Georgian. Silla just off the bench, launches one. You see it has the highlight reel tape plays and everything else. He desperately wants to contribute, but the reality is Oostende have played better minutes when he's been on the bench. Now Shermadini gets inside and called for the hook. And again, the young Boychart winning the duel with the veteran Shermadini, you know, a player that you would have said would have been an MVP candidate for the league when play was stopped.
And he doesn't have to hook either. I mean, it was absolutely the right call by the official. He doesn't need to do that to get position down there. And that probably sums up Tenerife in this first half.
Schwartz, same spot, same result. Well, you might want to call this a coming out party for Loic Schwartz because he has been on fire in the first half with 10 points, back-to-back three-pointers. And now Welsh picks up another foul. So quickly upon his re-entry.
It's a poor foul as well. He doesn't need to do that. That looks like not really being used to playing here. He's tried to hold him with his elbows, you saw, but extended it. And it's one-on-one. The official's going to call that. And quite rightly, with 1:45 to go, he doesn't need to pick up any more than 2. They're going to need him deep into this game, so he goes out of his second foul. Hey, they don't lose anything, Jeff. The guy coming back is the guy that's been one of the guys really fundamental in Bashard, running fundamental, absolutely fundamental in this 30-24 scoreline. Undersized. He's definitely not undersized when it comes to the way he's playing hard. He's been a real bonus for Oostende. And a nice call timeout-wise as well. I think they just need to focus going into the half, take their moment now, make sure they keep what they've got, and go into the halftime break positively.
So Tenerife breathing a sigh of relief as Shermanini looks as if he's starting to wake up a little bit, makes both free throws. They trail by 5.
Oh, there you go, Jeff, that turnover number. They had 5 at the end of the first quarter, 0 turnovers in this second quarter, and 9 points off the Tenerife turnover. So the 5 turnovers didn't hurt them in terms of points. Tenerife only with 2 points on those turnovers. But they've taken really good care of the ball. They've really executed well, and they've put themselves in the game at the half. And if you'd have offered them that at the start of the game, they would have taken it.
Go, Amar, for trap. Stay big. Hey, pass goes, rotate. Go, stand back, take it here. Okay.
Well, Mark, I know it's early, and but this Oostende team seems to have a little bit more discipline to them. They have a better recognition about how they want to attack the opponent. They're, you know, other than that brief spell in the first quarter, you know, they're playing their type of basketball, and it obviously helps when you make some shots. And you know, Schwartz, his contributions have been immeasurable. Really, he's been terrific. Well, and there's a turnover that is just going to drive. That will put a few more gray hairs on the head of Georgia, because how can you call a timeout and then come out and turn the basketball over?
Well, they got down a little bit with the full court trap, and you ended up with Jean-Marc Mwema with the basketball against pressure. That's not a place to be.
And now an unsportsmanlike foul has been called on Mwema.
Wow.
So that'll be 2 shots and possession, and it has been a nightmare 5 seconds for Mwema, the turnover and then the unsportsmanlike foul. And talk about momentum shifting. And yeah, he kept his arm out there and caught Saline as he was trying to run the baseline. But
like, Jeff, if the referee thought he had his arm out there on purpose to, it's almost like a hand to the face. If it's an unsportsmanlike, if that's what the referee thought he did, it's almost worse than that. Could almost be if he's to an extent thrown his hand into the face of an opponent. That's an interesting interpretation. Yeah, I don't think it was personally, but if that's the call by the official, it's an interesting one.
Well, he definitely held his arm out there.
Yeah, he did. There was definite intent on the contact.
Fittipaldo with a bounce pass goes off the foot of Oostende.
I almost thought that came off the foot of Shamadini, but oh no.
No, it went off Boychart in the end.
Yep.
Well, you know, the way this is kind of unfolded coming out of that timeout, you're wondering if Oostende really needed to call that timeout.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. I thought it was good. Yeah, with Welsh going down to the bench, I thought it was a good idea, but all it's done is given Villareal a chance to actually put some pressure on.
Shermadini in the paint, goes up with a sweeping hook, and there with the offensive rebound and the miss with Saline.
Well, they dodged the bullet there, didn't they? Because Shermadini had it and Saline had a wide open 8-footer.
Simon Boyce also in the game. Here's Boychart, who's been a real beast. Oh, he goes right at Shermadini. And Shermadini defensively, I guess, holds his ground, hopes for the miss, and then he grabs the rebound. Fittipaldo for three, and it's a game-tying 3-ball. And we're right back where we started, knotted at 30 here in the final 20 seconds of the first half. Loic Schwartz. Boyce open for three. Off the back of the iron seal and knocks it over to Salim. Plenty of time for Iberostar Tenerife. Fittipaldo bounce pass, ball turned over. Schwartz maybe had a little bit more time than he realized, launches it. And we are going to halftime, 30-30, all to play for. We've seen the good and the bad and the ugly from both of these teams. It's to be expected here early in the season. Almost Jekyll and Hyde performances at times from both teams is the best way to put it. It's Iberostar Tenerife and Filou Oostende tied at 30 apiece here at halftime of their Game 3 decider in the round of 16.
Well, no one's going to be writing home about these. Oostende's done a nice job from two-point range, but 18%, 28% from the three-point line. 18 threes for Tenerife is still a big number. 9 assists for Oostende will definitely please them. Rebound-wise, it's pretty tight. It's like everything in the game. It's not the prettiest game. One or two players have stepped up at key moments. Schwartz has had a really nice half. Welsh was good early on. But Shermadini's 5 points. He didn't take a field goal until 16 minutes into the game. So it shows his worth when he gets the basketball. And if he sees more of the basketball, I think that's got to be good for Tenerife. But if you're Oostende, Jeff, you would take a tie at the half.
Well, the winner of this game will advance to face Casademont Zaragoza at the final 8 in the quarterfinals that will be held in Athens. And that game will actually be played on October 1st. And the final 8 will tip off on September 30th. And so far, so good. You'd have to say, really, for this Oostende team. They've come here the underdogs, even though they won Game 2. But with all of the upheaval because of the coronavirus pandemic, having kept all the basketball players off the court for so long. And of course, they've been back together now, been training for a couple months. But some of these players, especially for Tenerife, only joining the last couple of weeks and perhaps not in the rhythm that they would like to be in at this point with such a huge game. But you really have to say that it's great, despite the difficulties that the Basketball Champions League has been able to come out and finish what they started, which was the season last season. They're finishing it with these 2 round of 16 games. Of course, Dijon and Nizhny Novgorod also playing. And then, of course, we will have the final 8 in year 4 of the Basketball Champions League. So, Mark, why don't we take a break, and we'll be right back before the start of the second half.
Play, they throw it all the way down the court. He gets it, he throws it up. Unbelievable. Well, that will put Peter Reda, give him a smile going to halftime, and that will certainly upset Churcha. Djordjevic dumps it off. Desarron continues to impress.
He gets it back, steps through, and he's blocked at the rim by Sina. You've just seen him on the top 10 plays with a big block. And now Hurtas kicks it back up, wide open three, is good! For Lumberg yet again. And he loves it. That's why they're unbeaten. That's why they're the former champions.
Good hustle, Brandon Brown is going to fly in. Oh, he's going to get swatted by Konate. Not in this house, he says.
Uses one screen, then the other. Thompson rolling to the ring. Here he is now. Spins, goes along the baseline, throws it down. Well, he had the #1 play last week, and that might be in the top 10 once again.
Angola now gets it to Sealer. Sealer, crossover, little step back. Oh, wonderful handle by the big man, my goodness.
Defensive rebound, Shimandini is like a stats market out there at the moment. Shimandini, gotcha! Oh! Just to underline the point.
Shot block to 6. Huertas. Oh, they find Salim wide open. The flare, it's good! What execution from Tenerife! Satu Salim makes the 3. And Tenerife clinical here. High screen, right, still right, no good, ball's loose, they get it back, still, Angola to win it! That's extraordinary! That is incredible! Oostende, they are 2 ahead.
Coach, what gives you the most satisfaction from your team? The most satisfaction for your team in this first half?
That we stay in a game even if we could have better result. I mean, we make a few turnovers, very naive now at the end, and didn't respect offensive rules versus ice defense. So if we would execute that better, we will have better result.
What do you need to improve? What do you need to improve?
Better board control for sure, where we'll, I hope, be capable to run, and don't allow them so much easy ball movement. That's for the defensive part. For offensive part, for sure better ball movement and executing also some passes to the big man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Sasu Saline has 8 points, 2 of 5 from three-point range. And Iberostar Tenerife, the favorites. Remember, the club, arguably the most famous of the clubs in the Basketball Champions League since it began in the 2016-17 season, winning it that opening year, also reaching the final last year. They find themselves in a real dogfight right now, going up against upset-minded Oostende. Filou Oostende there with Pierre-Antoine Gillet leading for much of the second quarter, but the two teams knotted at 30 apiece here in this Game 3 decider of the round of 16 game. So the winner will advance to face Casademont Zaragoza in the final 8, which will be held in Athens, and that final 8 will be tipping off on the 30th of this month of September. However, the Casademont Zaragoza against the winner of this game, that game will be played on October 1st. So Oostende trailing early on, then going on a big run to take the lead, and Iberostar Tenerife coming right back at the end to tie things up. And boy, we have got an exciting 20 minutes to go here in La Hamburguesa.
Jeff, I think the thing I'd love to really sort of highlight there with that Oostende performance was the defense.
Coach,
Let's listen to Coach first.
For the second half to winning this game.
We need to control the turnovers. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Jeff. we waited 15 minutes for that. Hey, you know, Chus Ferreira, one of the most experienced play callers in Spain. In the same way that Coach Grieger said, you control the basketball, you take care of the basketball, you have a chance. You keep turning it over, and you are really going to be up against it. And as he said, he can run the best systems in the world, but if you keep turning it over, that's not going to mean for anything. But I think a lot of that, you got to give some credit to the Oostende defense. The way they played the pick and roll when they asked the guard to score, that was interesting, the way they did that, and they stopped Shermadini getting touches. Because as soon as Shermadini or whoever was on the inside on the screen got touches, whether to shoot or to kick, it really did give Oostende more questions than they really wanted to answer. Going the other way, though, I think if Tenerife get the ball inside a little better, go to the inside before they take the three, perhaps, I think they'll be better suited. And it'd be interesting to see if Huertas plays more in this second half than he did in the first, because they are so much better with him on the floor.
So second half action underway here in the Santiago Martin Arena here in Santa Cruz, Tenerife. And Djordjevic, who didn't play much in the first half. Now Loic Schwartz, real talking point, comes out and misses with his first three. Djordjevic looked like he was going to get the offensive rebound, but couldn't control it or couldn't corral it. Here it is again. He kept it alive, so I guess he did pretty well enough just to challenge. And Huertas does get the start in the second half. And a player of his ilk, you would imagine, is the one that you would expect to really come to the fore here. And he hit that mid-range shot twice in the first quarter. And in Weymouth, looked like he was playing pretty good defense there.
Yeah.
Foul has been called. I don't know, Weymouth or Schwartz? Schwartz was asking for it.
I think they've, well, have they given it on Weymouth? Weymouth was unlucky if they gave it on him. He had it clean the first time.
And maybe Schwartz got him from behind, actually. So
they got the result they wanted, though, didn't they, in terms of the pick and roll? Again, Huertas was asked to make the shot. And asked to make the shot that he would expect to make, but he just wasn't in rhythm on it. They just didn't get the defensive rebound.
The foul was indeed on Schwartz. Silla hands it off to Nwema. Silla saves it in bounds. Diaz almost went for the steal, and then Nwema turns the ball over. Not a good offensive possession, or offensive set, rather.
Well, Welsh should have got the ball on the roll. They did a pretty decent job at contesting the pass, but Welsh was open on the roll. They just missed him. And, you know, both teams, it just shows how refined, you know, pick and roll defense has become. You know, it really does ask a question of the offense now.
Well, there's no doubt about it right now that Shermadini is how they want to attack. Chus Vitoretta wasn't going to tell us that at halftime, but he just wanted to home in on the turnovers. Here's Welsh, short little jump hook, misses. I would have bet money that he would have made that.
Yeah.
So both bigs missing. Huertas from the baseline. And Wayman knocks it out of Shermadini's hands. Georgia really talking about how he needs his team to be disruptive defensively. And, well, Huertas, for the third time in the game, just kind of like drifts in. Oostende kind of sag, waiting for the pass, and he just takes the short little mid-range jump shot. Silla launches it from way downtown. And no flow to the offense right now for Oostende.
And Silla looks like he's looking for offense. You made the point, he wants to make a contribution. He's not letting the game come to him at all.
Saline misses, but Shermadini there gets blocked by Silla. Huertas again off 1 foot. And Marcelino Huertas, as you highlighted, kind of needs to come to the party, and come to the party he has. Perhaps somewhat of a late arrival. But a couple of big baskets here, and Tenerife now leading at 36-30.
It's a little bit deja vu, isn't it, in terms of the first half? Very similar, disjointed offensively. And
I just feel like Oostende are a little bit. Do you not think that Oostende are a little bit stagnant on offense right now? They're not moving.
Yeah, it's going to sound like I'm going to be a little bit negative about Dusan Djordjevic, but when he's at the point, there are certain times in the game you need him at the point, but when you need to pick up the tempo, he is not the man. He's the experienced guy if they're protecting a lead, if they need to get something specific maybe. But they looked a lot looser with Van der Vurst at the point, and they looked a little quicker too.
Well, and Wayman not having a good game, not having a game to write home about. 4 turnovers, has yet to score, missed all 3 of his shots. Had the unsportsmanlike foul. Still, Oostende only trailing by 6 points.
This is what you're talking about, Jeff, isn't it? It's all slow. It's all in front of the Tenerife defense. They don't get turned. They don't have to recover, to rotate. And then they get the bonus of the offensive foul. And that's really about the tempo being set at the point. Djordjevic is a really experienced, he's 37 years old now. And he's had a great career, and he's still a very, very good player. Perhaps in this game, they need that little bit more tempo from the point. And, you know, maybe they need to go back to that younger backcourt with Van der Vurst at the point.
You saw that Schwartz now has 3 fouls. Coming in is Olivier Toifontaine. Now Silla hands it off to Schwartz. Djordjevic. Toifontaine out on the left wing. Now the pass inside to Welsh, and he is fouled by Kavanaugh going up.
Did a much better job just having a little bit of composure as they doubled the pick there. Guerra had left Welsh. The help was late coming from at that time coming across there from Tyler Kavanaugh. And with a little bit of composure, Djordjevic makes the pass.
And look
Welsh
who's
gets the
off.
2.
And Mark, look who's off the court right now.
Yeah.
You know, Shermanidi not in the game, and perhaps that opens things up a little bit for Welsh to go to work. He's got 9 points.
He really does need touches right now. We said that in the first half with Shermadini on the bench. Let's keep going to the Welsh well, so to speak.
Fanguera passes it to Kavanaugh, now over to Huertas. And I think the ball is coming down as Silla knocked it out. And this has been the Marcelino Huertas quarter here in this game. 10 points, 6 of them coming in this quarter.
What a talent Silla is, though. I mean, if he can get himself going in a game, Oostende have got a real diamond.
Well, that's Toifontaine, I think, perhaps trying to pass it to Welsh, who was guarded, who had 3 Iberostar Tenerife players around him. Good idea to share the ball and to go baseline, but maybe you need to kick it back out. Well, he got his hand in the net. Yeah, that was an easy call for the ref. So timeout on the floor. Let's listen to Coach Georgia.
Listen, Dusan Dusan ball. This is Thomas.
Okay, so he's drawing up a play, so we're not going to listen to him. As you look at the rebounding, Iberostar Tenerife leading it 26-20. And Pierre-Antoine Gillet as well. Perhaps he needs to be out on the court. 13 second chance points for Iberostar Tenerife, just 2 for Filou Oostende.
That's 13 second chance points coming off 9 offensive rebounds, and that's balancing out those turnovers that Coach Figueroa talked about. Well, very briefly talked about at halftime. But they've lost the tempo, I think, Oostende. This is very much more a Tenerife type of game right now. And
what have you got to say about Huertas, though? I mean, let's real quickly. You know, we know that Leandro Barbosa just retired this week from Brazil. And, you know, Huerta still playing at this high level here in Europe. I mean, just an exceptional player, isn't he?
Oh, he's still playing at the highest level of European basketball, carrying a team in this instance. Yeah, he's just a great player, full stop. He's up there with the greats with a European career. He's had an NBA career. Yeah, he's up there with the greats, Jeff, for me.
Well, coming out of the timeout, not how things, not how Georgia envisioned it, and Tenerife get a stop, and then they get a fast break.
They don't need to run that complicated stuff to get Welsh the ball down low, and he's going to end up with a turnaround jumper under pressure. Man, they're running that horns, and they send a little double screen of him getting to the low block. There's a lot of traffic for him to play with. It's, I don't think it has to be that complicated.
Frangera picks up the foul.
Yeah.
Sets the kind of just nudges him out of the way while he's setting the pick. Frangera's
Djordjevic did the veteran thing, Jeff, though, didn't he? Did that veteran thing, got his leg caught up and made sure he kept it caught up. And they need that sort of call. Any call at the moment to stop the way the momentum's going.
Well, Bichardt back in the game. And so is Pierre-Antoine Gillet, and he misses from three-point range. And Oostende just 3 points in the first 5.5 minutes of the second half. Kavanaugh for three. And really, they could be even further behind. See if they can turn it on. Simon Boisse. There he is.
It's interesting for me, Jeff, here the way they're calling this this offensive foul on the pick. You know, referees are, you know, each year they'll highlight what they want to call, what they don't want to call, or what the emphasis should be. You know, that's a consistency of call on the pick. There was a lot of sideways movement, and they're trying to clean up that pick and roll. There's going to be contact. Let's just keep it within the. Let's keep it so the defense has got a chance to get through. Let's see if the offense can get an advantage. And let's be consistent in how it's called.
So that foul was indeed on Bichardt, trying to set the pick for Boisse. Fittipaldo back in the game. Marcelino Huerta's catching a breather. I'm sure Oostende must be happy that he's gone out of the game. Dornekamp has also come back in. Still looking to get his first points. There's Huertas.
Interesting phase, Jeff, with those changes. This lineup for Tenerife.
Well, they swing it. Dornekamp for three, and he finally gets it to go.
Well, you made the point earlier on. He's not going to keep missing those, and he's too good a shooter. But 1 for 6. The numbers don't tell you he's a good shooter, but his career does. That's a great cut.
Beautiful give and go.
See, that's Djordjevic type basketball. It's in a controlled half court. Someone makes a decent cut. He's not going to initiate it by breaking the defense down, but he can make a pass. He can really make a pass.
So two free throws coming for Fontaine, and it really feels right now like Oostende just trying to stop the bleeding and hang in there. Just try to get a little run.
Yep.
You know, halftime, they really kind of lost their rhythm or their mojo late in the second quarter. It's kind of carried into this third quarter.
Goes right back to that timeout with a 1:40 to go which we thought at the time, I thought at the time, may have been a good move. But from that point on, they really did. Tenerife grabbed the momentum from that timeout, and Oostende gave it up a little bit, and they're struggling to get themselves moving in the game. If they can go into the end of the third in single digits, that single-digit margin, I think they'd settle for that right now.
Lopez back in the game, number 25. He's got the basketball. Dornekamp, will it be 2 for him? Yes, it will. Another 3 ball for Aaron Dornekamp.
Man, this team likes to shoot the 3, don't they? Jeez.
outscoring 16-5 in the quarter. Dornicamp coming to life. Seen much better from Marcelino Huertas as well. And the foul. Again, remember, this is the continuation of the 2019-2020 season when play, the round of 16 was being completed. These two teams had a game 3 to play, the decider, back in March, and the coronavirus pandemic came around and basketball was stopped. Weichart misses the first free throw. So the winner of this game will win this round of 16 and advance to the final 8 in Athens, Greece, which will be played, tipping off on September 30th. That was also the site for year 2 of the Basketball Champions League when Ike hosted and won that Final Four. And now a foul called on Franguera. So he called a foul as he was handing it off and then just kind of turned into the defender.
Yep.
Antoine Gillet drives in, gets it to the corner. Oh, nice feed, but Weichart should have finished.
That's a great effort, though, isn't it, defensively? Just didn't quit on the play, where it just helped and then recovered. Weichart's got to score. I mean, let's not try and build it up too much. But it was just a great defensive effort to help and then get a piece of it on the way up. I mean, Guerrero may look for the foul, but you got to finish this play. Guerrero just helped, got it back across. That's a big-time effort. Great effort play.
Yeah, I think you said it right. I mean, he's got to finish no matter what, or at least get to the line. Diaz misses for 3. Tenerife not playing quite well enough right now to blow this thing wide open, and that's fortunate for Oostende. Antoine Gillet for 3. And that is a dead-out shooter right there, missing an open 3.
That's 2 for 16 from the three-point line. It's just killing him at the moment.
Guerra. Well, that's back to the basket and scores with a little jump hook. First 2 points for him. Minute and a half remaining. Fontaine, boy, hits a badly needed three-point shot for Oostende.
Well, there's some confidence back in yourself when the team's gone 2 for 16. They desperately needed to knock that down.
Oh, beautiful pass, unselfish shot over to the hot man, and Dornicamp hits his 3rd three-pointer of this quarter.
0 for 5 coming into this quarter. Now he's 3 from 8. Once you find it, you've got to keep going to him, and they've done a great job of finding him in the last few minutes.
Oh, what a bounce pass, and this time Weichart is not going to miss. He throws it down.
Just about hanging in now. 10-point game. Weichart with his 5th on a 50% from the field.
Diaz. Boy, Danny Diaz can't get it to drop either tonight. Oh boy, Huertas going behind his back. Thought we were going to have a highlight reel play, but instead he turns it over. And Fontaine has it to give it to Oostende for the last possession, they would hope, of the 3rd quarter. Fontaine over to Djordjevic. Boyce puts it up. Oh boy, clever play. Simon Boyce will go to the line for 3 free throws.
As clever as Boyce was, Lopez is not going to like that when they review that play. Just literally left the floor straight through the shoot-up. And to be fair to Simon Bousset, he just smart enough, went through the contact. He makes these three, or a 7-point game. As I said, Oostende would have taken a single-digit margin going into the fourth because they have not played well at all in this third quarter, and they've lost their way. Be interesting to see how quickly they go to Van der Verst to see if they can get some momentum at the start of the fourth.
Well, he gets 2 out of the 3, and the full court heave. He gets the backboard, but that's it. But the third quarter was pretty much all Iberostar Tenerife, who lead it 51-43, heading to the final frame. If they can hold on a win, they will advance to the final 8 of the Basketball Champions League.
Well, if you're an Oostende fan, just don't look at the three-point stat. 3 from 17. It's not pretty, and if you're down 8, then especially as you're doing such a good job finding guys on the inside, getting to the ring, it's really been the decisive factor alongside, and we both commented, Jeff, alongside Marcelino Huertas, especially at the start of that third quarter. He just took over the game.
Well, we've seen Oostende be able to go on a run. Of course, much of that is when Iberostar Tenerife are their own worst enemy. But how will Georgia approach this fourth quarter? Will he bring in, will he bring Schwartz back into the game here at the start? Might we see, as you say, Van der Verst come back into the game? I mean, he's got a better feel for his team than we do, obviously. So
obviously, yeah.
But some of the veterans. I mean, you look at the play of Benwema tonight. Just offensively, really, he hasn't really done enough for them. We haven't seen Nakic yet in this second half. He was pretty good. Silla hasn't really done anything tonight. 0 for 5 is yet to score. And
no, I think that's it, Jeff. Yeah. No, it's that. Where's that young, fearless tempo that they got going in that second quarter? That's what was missing in that third quarter, and they are, to an extent, because the tempo got to be Tenerife's tempo. Huertas just took over. They didn't really get any easy buckets going the other way, and it doesn't look like they're going to go with that quicker lineup, and that really probably plays into the hands of Tenerife.
Well, you never know. He might make that change in the next couple of minutes, but Lopez gets it down low now. Here's the battle. Shermadini and Welsh. Shermadini. Oh, he can't get it to go. It looked like it was going to fall, and it just hung on the rim, and finally Welsh went up and took it away. Welsh doesn't even look at the 3, but he hands it over to Trois-Fontaine. And there's Welsh for the offensive rebound. Perhaps rushed the shot a little bit.
You got to finish those plays. You're down 8. Did a nice job getting on the glass. They had a good look.
Shermanini out to Huertas. Oh boy, Marcelino Huertas.
Well, the Shermadini Huertas 2-man game. It's been missing so far, but it's sweet to watch when they're in unison.
Place drives in, tough move, but doesn't finish. And right now, Oostende, you feel like they're on the edge of just falling out of this game. Can Tenerife deliver the knockout punch? Huertas goes in, has the ball knocked away. And the veteran looks like he says he was fouled.
And he was.
I didn't see too much there.
The little slap as he went to the baseline side. He got no love from the referee on that.
Huertas for 3. Shermanini offensive board. Has it knocked out of his hands. Oostende fighting for their Basketball Champions League lives right now. Of course, they'll be in the competition for the 2020-2021 season, which will tip off, scheduled to tip off in October. But they would love to go to the final 8. But they've got a comeback that they've got to mount if they're going to make it. Huertas again inside to Shermanini, who gets it out to Diaz, who finally knocks one down from 3-point range. Well, it took forever, but he finally gets his first threes, 1 of 5. And the way things have gone for Oostende in the second half offensively, it is that 14-point deficit almost looks bigger.
Yeah. I mean, that play there, Jeff, sums up the issue on that pick and roll, because earlier in the half, earlier in the game, they weren't allowing the pass to the inside. They were first forcing Huertas to shoot. Well, Huertas has taken on that challenge, so he scores. Then they have to try and rotate. And as soon as they rotate to the inside guy, they'll kick it to the perimeter guy, and Diaz gets the open. It's just a clinic in actually how to get advantage in the pick and roll. And if you're going down the other end and only shooting 17% from the 3, you're just going to get run over, and they've been run over by Huertas in this second half.
Yeah, you saw the stat there. 7 more 3-pointers have been made tonight for Iberostar Tenerife. They've hit 10, just 3 for Oostende.
And you said right early on they weren't going to keep missing like they were, and they were getting open looks. And Oostende's defense could stay as was while they were getting the miss and while they were getting Huertas struggling to score. But as soon as Huertas starts to knock down that shot when they leave him on the pick and roll, then they have to change things, and there's just too many options.
Well, Vanderverst back in the game, gets it to Welsh, but he misses down low. Well, Vanderverst comes out and fouls a player that is, I think, more than twice his age.
But the fact he fouls him, and yeah, but the tempo picks up because Vanderverst goes after it, and all of a sudden the game is a little less predictable. It's a more broken game because Vanderverst is going after it, and that's pretty much where I think Oostende have lost their way. This is his first time on the floor in the second half.
Shermanini gets it in the paint and scores. And now the lead is ballooned to 16 points. And in fact, Huertas is indeed 37 years of age, so he's more than twice the age of Vanderverst. And Weima. Vanderverst takes what the defense gives him, but doesn't have that polished finish.
The Huertas polished finish, you mean? That's the same type of shot. Huertas looks like he's in rhythm, on balance, making that shot a little bit rushed, going the other way.
Exactly. Almost kind of old schoolish.
Yep.
Schwartz tries to get it to Welsh, but the hands are up for Iberostar Tenerife, and with 6:45 remaining, it's looking more and more like Iberostar Tenerife are going to be making that familiar trip to the showpiece event. They made it to 2 of the first 3 Final Fours, winning the first year, finishing runner-up last year. We watched it in Antwerp. And here they are now, closing in on a spot in the final 8. Schwartz, Welsh gets the basketball, goes up.
Jeff, right from the beginning, we've been very positive about Welsh. I think Welsh is a really nice signing for Oostende. And as the season goes on, and Schwartz is going to be a big factor for them. There's still time in this game, obviously, 6:12 to go. But this is a pleasing look if you're an Oostende fan, that Welsh is going to be a big factor for you this season. And I think both domestically in Belgium and in the Basketball Champions League, he's going to make some noise in his over here in Europe. You know, he's a big guy, makes his free throws, as you just saw, has nice touch. And Oostende's a great place for him to be. Good shot window for him, full stop.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, you know, with the bigs as well, Mark, typically it takes longer to develop, but he's already got a lot of nice things to his game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a nice piece of work on recruitment.
Nice bounce pass from Fittipaldo, and then Shermanini threw it out of bounds.
I think Giorgio Shermadini is spending too much time with Huertas, Jeff. You know, Shermadini in his career would be coming out making one-handed passes in the keyway, but there you go. That's an interesting man for the 2'17" big man to try.
So Vanderverse hands it off to Welsh, who scores yet again. Oh, they haven't given up the ghost yet. Trailing by 12 points, 5.5 minutes remaining. You can see the body language from Welsh, urging his teammates on. It's got to happen on this end of the floor right now defensively, and they've been called for a foul late in the shot clock.
Well, he's got Swartz and the young Belgian guys on the floor there with Welsh. Moema's out there with his leadership skills, so he's got a lineup on the floor that gives him as much opportunity as he can put on the floor defensively. As you say, he needs to get stops. You know, 12 points, 5 minutes to go. No real issue in terms of the margin. It's just that Huertas is back in the game.
Yeah, try to get stops, try to get in transition, but you can't lose sight of Saline. And they live to tell the tale. Welsh gets another rebound. He's had a good night tonight. And Wema for three.
Has to go, that shot. Great work on the glass.
And finally, Wema gets the ball to fall. And it's only a 10-point game now with 4:53 remaining.
Yeah.
And really, Mark, I mean, you know, you kind of touched on it, but as you see the pass and in Wema, I think the kind of the free-flowing, the quicker, the athletic, let's speed up the game a little bit type of approach works better for Oostende, especially with a player like Silla out there. If they could get him going, that would make a big difference.
Yeah. This is key now for Coach Videoretta. If he can, if they can control things coming out this timeout, game's done. But coming out the timeout, if Oostende could get another stop, another points, then they're right back in it. But I agree with you 100%. They, in this matchup against Tenerife, when they put a lineup on the floor that makes the game a little bit more broken, you know, forces Tenerife to make decisions as opposed to do things under control, has been very productive for Oostende on the night. And I think that third quarter and the early part of the fourth quarter, they just didn't have enough options to change the way the game was being played. And, well, without putting too fine a point on it, Tenerife are far better than Oostende playing that way. So this gives them a last shot, last throw of the dice. Yeah, last throw of the dice if they can just keep it like this. But
absolutely. Meanwhile, Mark Welsh, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Still not a bad debut in the Basketball Champions League for the American center of Oostende.
I think it's a great welcome for Oostende fans to see him perform this well against a team of the quality of Tenerife. It must really bode well for the season if they can't come up with a comeback win right now.
Well, this time he doesn't make it, Huertas, but Guerra has been doing what he does, doing the dirty work, getting in there, getting the offensive rebound. Here's Huertas again, and Silla flies, and all of a sudden you start to see that youthful exuberance, that athleticism that gives this Oostende team a chance to come out and just play with a little bit more freedom. They just look like a better team when they've got Schwartz on the court, really, don't they?
Yeah,
and if
absolutely.
they could just get Silla.
Yeah,
I mean, Silla just hasn't been at the show tonight.
Silla and Moema, who have got to contribute, haven't contributed. So, and everything's a little bit just quicker. Just the whole thing is quicker. Even Huertas is being rushed into that shot coming off the ball screen. And that's got to be a good move for Oostende. And if you're going to be critical, maybe they could have gone to it a little sooner. There's still time, though. They only have to be leading in the 40th minute. Moema's got to get going, too.
Schwartz to Van der Verst. Van der Verst over to Nguema. And Nguema, I don't even know if he grazed the rim with that shot, but he just has not. You know, he has that potential to come out and play well, but I would think that his forte with this team, both with the national team and with Oostende, is his defense, his fieriness, his competitiveness. I wouldn't say he's your first option offensively.
Not at all. His energy, all those things they're the things he needs to bring, and he needs to bring them right now because it's this end of the floor. They need stops and scores, and they need them really quickly right now. There's only 3:45 to go. They get the stop because Guerra gets another offensive foul. Score here and a stop, and life gets very interesting. Same thing, Jeff. That moving screen, referee's been really consistent on it. Be something to really watch come the regular season and see if that trend continues.
Van der Verst for three. Oh boy, that does give him a chance now. They've cut it to 7. Oostende with the Van der Verst 3-ball. Who knows, maybe for the second consecutive showpiece event, we'll have another Belgium team there. Oostende perhaps wanting to spoil the party here. Dornekamp gets to the baseline, puts up a little runner, a little bit out of control, and Silla with the rebound. Just under 3 minutes remaining now. Clock, because of their struggles offensively, certainly becoming the enemy for Oostende, but showing a lot more flair, a little bit more ability to get the ball to go. Will Silla finally get it to go? No, he puts up an air ball. And that hits.
You called it, Jeff. He has to contribute. Wide open, look deep in the game, momentum breaking. He's got to make it. If you're going to win this game, he has to make it.
There's Huertas, and that would have been a dagger. He missed the offensive rebound and put back, and Guerra, courtesy of the dish from Kavanaugh, puts it up and in. And takes it back up to a 9-point lead now with 2 minutes remaining. Tough pass to Silla over to Schwartz. This is the man that needs to shoot the basketball, and he's fouled while attempting the 3. Kavanaugh arguing that he stuck his leg out to get the foul.
I think we have 3 really. That's a foul. He was coming through the back of him. He may have stuck his legs out, but he's coming through the back of him. I think the French officiating crew is far too experienced to be conned, if that's the word, by the sticking the legs out. Still time here, 1:46 if they make the 3, these 3 free throws. It's only a 2-possession game, so it's going to be more than that right now.
Crazier things have happened, but yeah, opportunities at the line. You've got to knock them down. 61-53, and he makes 2 of 3 for the second time tonight. They get to the line to attempt 3 free throws. And for the second time, they make 2 of the 3. Shermanini gets it, and very early in the shot clock, misses. Schwartz goes up, almost gets the steal. Dornekamp. Kavanaugh now, the offensive rebound, and he's fouled. Oostende just can't get the basketball.
They've given up. Well, you saw the graphic earlier on with the number of offensive rebounds, And that's poor, because it wasn't as if they got into a rotation and they were outnumbered on the glass. They just didn't box out. And the great thing about Coach Videoretta's teams is they do all the boring, simple, fundamental things that sometimes don't get recognized. Everybody rebounds, everybody runs their role. And all you had to do the last 3 possessions in Oostende's case is box out, and you could have been literally having a shot at winning the game.
But it makes 1 of 2, and Iberostar Tenerife 8 of 10 at the line on the night. Filou Oostende have actually done pretty well in that regard as well. 12 of 15, and that last roll of the dice here for Oostende as they call a timeout.
Now, hey, Amar and Thomas, please, you screen.
Yeah, apart from that second quarter where they went with the quicker, smaller, more aggressive, more active lineup, they've struggled offensively all night. And we've both made the comment that when they play a little quicker, they're much, much better. 19 second chance points, which underlines the offensive rebounding problem that Tenerife have given Oostende. And you just got to box out. It's not like it's a work part of the game, and they just haven't worked hard enough on the glass.
This is you. Okay. So what is the point? Flare straight. Okay, flare straight when you get the ball. When he's coming on, hey, this is a roll. You coming here. Hey, go and flare, bam, look your lap. A shot and then stepping in.
Yeah, 43-30, the advantage in rebounding. Iberostar Tenerife over Filou Oostende. 16 of those 43 Tenerife rebounds coming on the offensive glass.
Yeah. You're not winning, are you? At this level, Basketball Champions League level, you're not winning if you're giving up that many offensive rebounds. Too many second chance points in a low-scoring game.
And Wema shaking and baking, gets in the paint, goes strong. Oh boy, that was his type of move, but it's been that type of night for Nwema.
Yeah.
Just does not finish.
It's well put, Jeff. It sums his night up, doesn't it? One of the energy guys gets to the ring, probably as coach wanted him to, and then just blows a 2-footer, blows a layup.
And Wema 1 of 7 from the floor tonight. He and Silla, who is 0 of 6, they're combined 1 of 13 from the floor. What you can see over on the sideline, Georgia and Marcelino Huertas exchanging. There you go. Differing viewpoints. To his credit, Georgia listened to Huertas.
Yeah.
Then told him what actually happened. Dornekamp misses everything. Boy, he's either hot, he's either all or nothing, Dornekamp, and he's going back to nothing. Oh boy, look at that. What a turnover. Schwartz has got to do better. Great defense by Sasu Salim. Now Kavanaugh turns it over. Final 30 seconds. Time is the enemy. They've got to launch a shot. Van der Verst goes up, has it knocked away. And Iberostar Tenerife, well, we gave Oostende a chance to win this thing beforehand. They gave us a really good first 20 minutes. They were very slow getting going in the second half. And on the left there, Dario Georgia comes over and congratulates Chus Videoretta. They were trying to social distance, but in the end, I think they kind of hugged. And both these teams now will shake hands. And the end of the game, Iberostar Tenerife win it 62-54 over Filou Oostende to advance to the final 8 of the 2019-2020 Basketball Champions League. Well, Mark, the three-point shooting and the rebounding, key stats really that as this Oostende team you know, when they look back on this game, they'll know that they've got to do better in those two departments.
and one is totally within their control, Jeff. You know, doing a better job, whether you're, you know, spots 1 to 5 on the floor, doing a better job boxing out, better job on the glass. That's totally within your control. You know, you can just, as a group, as a team, individually, make sure you rotate, make sure you box out. You can definitely do that. That's something that can improve if you just decide it's going to improve. The three-point shooting, I don't know. It's a tough ask for Oostende. I think there's lots of good signs going into the season. Welsh is a great pickup, but they need the youngsters to just get that little bit of consistency. And the point I made during the game, they're very similar to.
How do you explain this?
Well, let's have a listen to this, though. Well, maybe not. But here are the stats, Jeff. And 29% from Tenerife is nothing to write home about from the three-point line. But 18% has killed Oostende. They did a nice job getting the ball to the inside. Rebounding is more than anything else the thing that really underlines the supremacy. 16 offensive rebounds as opposed to 4 offensive rebounds for Oostende. Wertas, just that's all you need to say, right? His performance was tremendous. And after all we talked about in terms of where were they, Shermadini and Wertas led a very balanced scoring effort by Tenerife. Tenerife good enough for the final 8, Jeff? I don't know. I think they're going to get better. They're going to a couple of weeks to get better. I think they've got some balance, but they're going to have to shoot the ball better. And Wertas is going to have to run the game as he has done for them over the last season or so. But Oostende, everything bodes well for the season. Tell you the main thing for me though, Jeff, the Basketball Champions League wins out of this. Getting this competition to the point where it can finish, I think, is a great effort by them. And I think tonight's game, with the intensity that both teams show, tells you what a great effort it's been on their part, and well worth it because the team's done a great job.
Yeah, I could not agree more. You know, very difficult circumstances. The main thing was to get this game played and to do so in a safe fashion. And these teams, you know, early on, clearly some of the polish missing from their game. But at the end of the day, perhaps some of the quality in the Iberostar Tenerife game shone through at the end. And you're talking about one of the all-time greats. He, you know, Marcelino Huertas will be viewed as a Brazil legend once he hangs it up. He's 37 years of age now, and the way he's playing, you know, it looks like he could be a player for a long time. Clearly looks like a player that could be destined to coach if that's what he wants to do as well. But, you know, going back to those offensive rebounds, 16 offensive rebounds that you talked about for Iberostar Tenerife, and, you know, 19 second chance points to just 4 second chance points for Filou Oostende. So those
Jeff, as well,
basics.
Where's the big time offensive rebounding athlete that Tenerife have? Where's the big body that creates space? They don't have that. They just went and rebounded, and Oostende didn't. And I think that's Oostende have the bodies to have competed with them on the glass. They just didn't. And they weren't great, Tenerife, but if you have to find a way to win, no better place than on the offensive glass. And that's a mentality thing for the team. That's a reflection on Coach Villareda's attitude, and always a pleasure to watch because there's always a team out there in the yellow uniform.
You know, and what about Iberostar Tenerife's chances? Well, I mean, you have to like them going into their duel with Casa de Zaragoza, if only because they've been there and they've done that as a club, and a lot of these players have been there. So there you see it. Zaragoza swept Lead Cabalas back in March. Iberostar Tenerife had to wait 6 months, 202 days, but they did. Or no, not 202 days. I think it was like 185 days. But anyway, they win Game 3, and they advance to the Final 8 of the Basketball Champions League.
se me traba. Te lo juro. Déjala que tiene un truco. Yo no puedo. La puta tiene un truco. Yo me fui a poner. ¿Sabes? Me trabé. Y me puse. Abandonando el pabellón. Y dándole. seguro, ¿no?